Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first podcast of the Storm Cloud blog. I'm Stormy, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of learning CPR and first responder skills. I have worked as a lifeguard, an instructor, and supervisor at Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, Arlington for about 7 years now. I've experienced situations inside and outside the park since I've started working there, where I've been able to use the skills I've learned. For example, when I was 16, my youngest brother drowned in a family friend's pool. It was the first summer that I had worked at the water park, so I had just learned CPR for the first time not too long before that happened. Thankfully, he was surrounded by people who all knew CPR and worked in the hospital, so we were able to bring him back. His name is Levi, and he'll be turning 9 this year. Ever since that day, I have dedicated a large portion of my time to educate others about CPR and first responder skills every chance that I get. My mindset has always been that I want to be as prepared as possible, and I never want to be a bystander in a situation where I know I can help. I have my guest of the day here with me right now. Her name is Cierra Hickson, and she is currently a nursing student at Tarleton State University. She was also a coworker of mine at Hurricane Harbor. Hey, Cierra, thanks so much for coming on my show today.
Oh, no problem, Stormy. I'm so excited to be here today on the Storm Cloud.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you just a couple questions about your nursing major and working at Hurricane Harbor, because our viewers really want to know more about CPR and first responder skills.
Okay.
So how long did you work at Hurricane Harbor?
I started there when I was 16, and I worked there for about 3 years, and I started off as a just regular shallow lifeguard and worked my way up into a leadership position, and I eventually became an instructor there.
That's awesome. So what kind of skills did you learn while working there?
You obviously learn the basic lifeguarding skills, but in addition to that, you learn a lot of first responder skills. So that ranges anywhere from doing CPR on someone to if they get a bee sting, what do you do in that scenario? If they're having an asthma attack, if they are showing heart attack signs or symptoms or anything like that. Hurricane Harbor really taught me how to recognize and react to those things.
I definitely agree with that. That's definitely been my experience as well. So out of all the skills that you listed and all of the stuff that you learned, how have those skills helped you in your everyday life and even with your nursing major?
I think definitely with the nursing major, it really helps you become more comfortable, because at Hurricane Harbor they really drill it into you, so it's more second nature than it is it's not necessarily that you're reacting to something. You're you don't even think about it. You're I see someone in distress, and you just go and you intervene, and you think about it later. And so those skills obviously really have been helpful in the nursing aspect, but just daily everyday wise, you just never know what you're gonna see out and about, and you can really be the difference between helping intervene in a situation or just standing by and watching somebody take their last breath. And I really appreciate the fact that I know the skills and techniques to step in and intervene.
So next week, Stephenville will be hosting the annual Larry Joe Taylor, or LJT Festival. Although this concert is fun for many, for some it can get very dangerous. The overuse of alcohol and drugs can be potentially fatal. So with that being said, do you have any tips for festival goers on how to be safe and how they can help others while they're there?
Yeah, I think going to Larry Joe Taylor Music Festival is it's a great thing, and it's a great way to listen to a bunch of country music, and it's a very fun environment. But with that in mind, it also can be a very scary environment. So I really suggest using the buddy system and going with somebody that you trust out there at the mountain. It's really easy to get turned around and just kind of get lost where you're at, and just having somebody there to not only watch out for you, but just to hang around with you, so you're never in a situation that you can't get out of because you're by yourself. I would also suggest bringing water. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and you just really want to make sure that you stay hydrated so that you don't have any further complications later on. But if something like that does happen, there are paramedics and police officers out there to help you, and you'll see them in their uniforms and stuff. So with all that in mind, I would also suggest just being mindful about the surrounding community that you're with out there. Like I said, it can be a lot of fun, but it can be a very scary thing. And just because nothing's happening to you doesn't mean that next to you something's not happening. So just being an active bystander rather than a passive bystander.
That's some great advice, Sierra. Well, that wraps up our questions for the day. Thank you so much for joining me on the Storm Cloud.
Thanks, Stormy.
Thank you all for listening to the first podcast of the Storm Cloud blog. Hopefully you guys have learned some helpful information today that you can take wherever your life takes you.